Hello guys, welcome you back to another episode of Short Python course for beginners. In this particular episode, we are going to be dealing with a concept known as conditionals or if statements. So an if statement is just as it literally means. So if you make use of if, then you give your condition, and then you make use of you put your condition in kind of like if. Okay, so let's have this. Yeah, if condition, then using a colon, then you write a block of code. So given your condition, you are going to write a block of code that will be executed once that condition is satisfied. So an example of this is, let's assume we have a variable. So first of all, let's give a variable. Let's give a variable. So okay, let's have a variable a equals 2. So we can execute, we can insert an if block. A if a is equals to 2, then the block of code to be executed below it is print good. Okay, good. So this is our code right here. So we have that if we have in the first line a equals 2, and then if a is equal to 2, then print good. Now you would have noticed that in this case, this equal to here is double, so that is the ones used for conditionals. So this is the kind of equal to that is used when we have conditionals. So but this first kind of equal to is kind of like a declarative equal to, is an assignment. But the second kind of equal to that is double is kind of like a conditional equal to. So moving on, let's execute this block of code and see what it gives us. So we have it gives us as good. So I guess you can also insert this in a parenthesis if you consider that useful. So it will still execute the code. So good. So now this if is, in my opinion, is a very very powerful part of Python because it allows you to do a lot of things. So for example, let's give a code that picks the maximum number out of okay, let's say let's use an if block. So that if block is going to, you can just think of any conditions to implement with an if block. So let's define b as okay, kind of like a code that tells us if a student passed an exam or not. So b is equals to input. So the student input is scores, and then we have an if block. If b is so assuming the pass mark is 60, if b is is equivalent to 60, then we should execute this block. Print you just pass. So let's execute this. So in this case, I will need an input. The Python will need an input. So let me type an input here. So let me have this as 24, 25. Okay, and when I go on it, the program is finished. There's nothing else to do. So you can see that the reason for that is that the 25 is not up to 60. So and it is not equal to 60. Now an if can also be used with an else block. So let's try putting an else block. So but in this case, the else block will not be under that indentation to start from the right, from the first position on the left. Else, so this is what it's supposed to perform if that condition is not met. Else, so we'll put this to else print I don't. Okay, rather, as I don't know. So let's execute that and see what happens. So if I typed 60, if I type 60, it's going to act as um expected. So I don't know. So the reason for that is that I guess that is not equal to AB is equal to 60. So yes, actually it's equal to 60. It's supposed to type it's supposed to give us you just passed, because this is 60, right? So let's try that again. 6 and 0, 60. I guess we have an issue with this code. Let's try something else. So let me try 45. I don't know. I guess there's an issue with the code. So let's check that out. So what could be wrong? If B is equivalent to 60, print you just passed. Else, print I don't know. So let's use another condition. So let's say if B, instead of equivalent, let's say if B is greater than 60. Now, I mentioned earlier that the pass mark was 60, right? Now, for those students who got 60, what do we do with them? So you can introduce another condition. It's not necessarily you must have one condition. We can introduce another condition before that colon, and then let's say if B is greater than 60 or B is equal to 60. So here we have a new condition. So that means for those who scored above 60 or those who scored 60, they are going to pass. Else, so any condition apart from that means the person scored below 60. So let's execute the code, and then as usual it will ask for our input. Okay, I guess there's an issue here. Okay, let's use a single equal to and see what happens. Okay, it's trying to load here. Now, just in case you've not noticed, there's something going here. There's an error. I forgot to insert a colon, so let's use that. So and then let's add the second equal to. So executing that, we should not have any errors anymore. So let's input a number like 27, 25. So when it's actually not supported an instance of string. So let's see what exactly is going on. If B is greater than 60 or B is equal to 60, print it just pass. Else print I don't know. So I guess there's an error with the code, and so let's adjust the code now. I can also achieve this same result by using a lesser than. If B is lesser than 60, so for those who score lesser than 60, they would be told that you just okay. Let's be totally let's hit the nail on the head. You just failed. To be brutally honest, okay, they're not always acceptable, but well, you could even add an exclamation mark if you like. So then else print. Let's. So I'm going to reverse the effects of the code now. You just passed, and then you can make it maybe use So this is not grammatically English correct, but I guess it has some effects anyway. So let's execute the code. So okay, let's try that. So let's assume somebody got 67. So we're still having this issue. Let's see on line 6. So there's an error in line 6. So one kind of bittersweet part of Python is debugging. So here we have if b is lesser than 60. Okay, I guess there's an error somewhere. B is equal to input. If b is less than 60, you print you just failed, else. Okay, actually that is correct. Let's try b is equal to 60. Equal to 60 and see if we'll still get such an error. So if let's use 60, you just passed. Okay, let's use something like 76, you just passed. So I guess there should be an error with the code. So one of the sources of error could be that we haven't converted it to the correct data type. So let's convert it to integer first, and let's see what happens. Integer. So it's possible that there's an error because input is often gotten as a string. So now I'm glad that I actually made this video because I actually underestimated the power of data type. Let's see what happens. So when we have it as 60, don't have it as 60, you just failed. Okay, now the code is correct now. So I guess the code is correct. So let's have it as 54, 40, okay, 45. Then you just passed. So actually that is the inverse of the effect we intended to get, but we had to go through all this hassle because I did not get the correct data type. So now let's correct the code here. If b is lesser than 60, so this is what to print. Or let's use something like if b is equal to 60 or b is greater than 60. So for those who passed, so let's print you just pass, and then else you just failed. So let's see what happens with this code. So for a number, okay, actually we're having an issue here. So let's if we use a single, I forgot the colon here. So it should not give me an error again. So let's assume we have 35. So that would be you just failed. But if we have a number greater than that, so something like if we have something a number like 68, it's going to be you just passed. So you can see that this is a code that give us different input based on the it gives varying output based on the input. So this is kind of like a decision, and this is one of the application of conditionals. You can also use them for a lot of um um use. For example, if the maximum score is 100 and you want to reward a student who got 100, so you can make use of an else if, okay, you can make use of an elif. So that is a statement that is also used with an if block. If, elif, and else. So let's have the elif block as else if is also the same thing as else if in JavaScript. So I will be making a course on JavaScript, but that will be another time. So let's say elif b. So for students who got 100, b equals to 100. So we have a code for that. So let's print. So when a student gets every possible score, so we could print something like you are. So unfortunately, I don't have you are a genius. So let's execute that code and see what happens. So assuming we have a student getting 100, let's see if it works. 100, you just passed. So actually that didn't work. So let's use something else for that. So let's remove one of that 100 and let's see what happens. Okay, it won't be that easy. Let's replace the second 100, the second equal to. So we should replace it. So I guess we need an else if else if else else. So that is actually a statement in Python, but I'm having issues with that. So basically, I guess this we should print this first and this next. Let's see what goes on. If we print this block of statements first, that's if we exchange it. So print this next. So let's try that. So I guess it's because that second condition is a subset of the first. So that is why we're having such an issue. So I need to print the. Okay, I guess I'm having issues here. So if print good. So I need this block of code. Okay, I can just select that here. And then here we go. I'll cut it out. Then I'll insert it after that elif block so that it will not be a subset of it anymore. So all this is basically I'm actually making a video and I'm actually editing and debugging code. That's one of the beauty of coding. So it happens that I've actually corrected that code. So let's see what happens if we execute this. So we should okay, now it should be able to execute properly. So if we have a student getting 100, what should you do? You are a genius. So if we have a student getting above 60, then it should show you have passed. Let's say 68, you have passed. And then if you have a student getting below 60, so in this case let's say 23, you have failed, you just failed. So basically this is an example of the application of conditionals. In real life they will be applied in very in a lot more complex way. So but you can just take this concept and input it in your code and use it to solve real life problems. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode and thanks for watching.